Hi, my name is Michael Mallory, and welcome to the first lesson here at the Innkeepers Travel and Tourism Marketing Association. I'm making this lesson free because I think this is the most important concept that I'm going to be teaching. And this is a concept, and all of the marketing that we're going to be doing, all the marketing training, will sort of revolve around this concept and enhance this concept and make it work. But in the modern marketing world, you cannot market the way you used to market 10, 20, 30 years ago. Your business will be out of business before you know it. I think this concept is too important to hide, so I wanted everyone to have access to it, even if they didn't want to join the association or want to pay. Here we go. The marketplace has changed forever. The marketing that used to work no longer does. If you're relying on putting yourself in guidebooks or putting yourself in online directories, or heaven forbid you're relying on things like Travelocity.com or Booking.com, you are going to be hidden behind 10,000 hotels that are doing things more efficiently than you, that have bigger marketing budgets than you, that can outgun you in almost every aspect of marketing. And they have people who've been trained specifically to do this. The hotels are also offering more of the amenities that you used to only get at an inn or B&B. They offer breakfast almost everywhere, so your bed and breakfast is available at any hotel. They're offering conference rooms. Some of them have gardens with nice flowers. Almost all of them have meeting facilities. There are things that you can get in hotels now that 20, 30 years ago you couldn't get at most smaller hotels that they are offering. You have to change the way you market, and you have to change the way you think about marketing. Not everything seems like marketing, like social media, like using YouTube, like using Pinterest, but they are forms of marketing, and they're forms of communication with your guests, with your customers, and you have to get used to using them. It doesn't take a lot of technology, it doesn't take a lot of learning, and it doesn't take a lot of time, but if you put in a little every day, you can make it work. You also have to give your guests a good reason to book directly with you. One, so you don't lose the fees to the online travel agents. But two, that's how they're going to find you. If you're an inn or a bed and breakfast, they're not going to find you through the online travel agencies. You're going to be buried in a tab behind everything else, and they are going to have to know they want to go to an inn or a bed and breakfast. And chances are, if they already know that, they're going to be looking specifically for you, and they're not going to be on Travelocity or Booking or any of the other online booking sites. What I'm about to discuss applies to all small businesses everywhere. It applies to the business I had before this, which was a photography business. It applies to mechanics. It applies to plumbers. It applies to pretty much everyone. Innkeeping businesses need it, but they don't know they need it. Innkeeping businesses tend to live a little bit in the past, where you think you'll have a nice Victorian house and some nice dust ruffles and flowers, and it'll be all quaint and cutesy, and that may still work for you. But if you do not start applying the concept I'm about to talk about, your business will slowly drop off unless you are the key player in your niche, unless you have a steady stream of clientele. People will just stop hearing about you. Slowly but surely, business will decline. What I'm talking about is something that I have decided to call authority fame. Authority fame, what is it? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how to claim your own fame for you and your inn. And these days, I think it's as important for you to be a face for your inn as the inn is for you. You're going to have to learn how to be a person who can talk on camera. It's very easy to do. It's just like talking to someone in a conversation. And if you don't like being on camera, there's ways to do it like this, where you're using slides and your face isn't there and you're just using your voice, or you're getting someone to speak for you. But you have to have a person who's out front, who is the voice and the face of your inn. We're going to talk about the role of the internet in authority. It has changed the entire marketing environment. Everything is turned upside down. Things that used to work, you used to be able to pay to play, put out the ads, and you could get more business. Now you have the ability to go in and outgun Hilton or Sheraton or some of the big hotel chains with people in your niche. We're also going to talk about productivity, inevitability thinking, and how to get this done. It's a little at a time. There's an old story about how do you eat an elephant, and the answer is one bite at a time. And that's what we're going to be working on a little bit every week. We're going to get you stronger. We're going to create your position, and you are going to know how to dominate your market so that if someone's coming to your area, they're thinking about your in. So what the heck is authority fame? Authority fame is positioning yourself as the go-to person in your field. So whatever your specialty is, you want to be one of the top people, or certainly the top in your area. Now, it's possible in the innkeeping business that there could be a top person for your niche in darn near every town. That's fine. It will keep a steady stream of guests coming to your town as long as the towns aren't so close together that people will go to the next town over to stay at the next inn that has the same niche as you. That's the only thing to worry about, and you just have to look at what your competition is doing and position yourself. But it's also very easy to work with them. Who wants to be famous? Why in the heck would you want to be famous? When you're well known, you hold all the cards. The people will come to you. They're going to look for you. They're going to want to stay with you. You don't have to chase after them. You choose who to sell to and who to surround yourself with. So you create your own crowd. You create your own momentum. How to create your authority. Creating your authority initially may take a lot of uncomfortable action. If you want to succeed, you're going to have to do a few things you've never done before. They're not very hard, but you're going to have to do them. You're going to have to stretch yourself, and you're going to have to be a little bit braver than you've been before, possibly. In Tribes, which is a book about how to form a tribe around yourself, they say leadership is scarce because few people are willing to go through the discomfort required to lead. And that's the truth. Most people don't want to be up front. People are scared to death. The number one fear, at least in the United States, but probably in the world, is getting up in public speaking, which is the easiest thing in the world to do because all you have to do is act like you're speaking to one person. And for the most part, you're going to be speaking into a camera or a microphone or a video monitor, and you won't even know that you're speaking to hundreds, thousands, however many people you're speaking to. Now, what the heck does this authority fame stuff have to do with innkeeping? Well, imagine being the inn or bed and breakfast to go to for your chosen niche, whatever that niche may be. The niche could be growing roses. It could be train enthusiasts. It could be lovers of Northern Italian cooking, people who like to knit, adventurous travelers, dog owners. Pretty much whatever you want it to be, as long as it's a big enough group of people that you can market to them and feel that you can get enough guests into your inn to stay as booked as you'd like to be, then that niche is good for you. You might have to combine a few. You might have to combine adventure travelers who are dog owners, or adventurous travelers who are knitters, or train enthusiasts who own dogs. And these are just a very tiny, tiny few specialties that you can put out. You just have to think about it, and I have some papers, a downloadable guide to help you decide what your niche is going to be. This organization that you're looking at right now was originally supposed to be the International Travel and Tourism Marketing Association. When I came up with the concept, I'm like, I want to teach tourism businesses how to market. But the problem is when you market to everyone, you're not marketing to anybody. You get lost in a field of sameness. And so I had to think. I knew I couldn't help every kind of tourism business, so I picked the people who were most like me in the hospitality and tourism industry and that I most relate to. I started a photography business 17 years ago out of passion, but I quickly found out that it's maybe 20% photography at the most, and 80% or more of it is marketing and sales. If you want to compete with hotel chains and other inns, you have to come up with something unique that no one else can duplicate. In my photography business, I was unique for a great period of time. I was first in the market with a variety of things. I was the first to use digital, strictly digital for wedding photography. I was the first to provide digital files with my coverage. I was the first to do very many things. I was the first to be a pure photojournalist in my market. That had slowly eroded over the years, and I knew that wasn't where my passion was anymore. I still love photography, but I did not start out to be a wedding photographer. I started out to be a travel and tourism photographer, believe it or not, which is why I'm coming full circle back to the hospitality and tourism industry. But you have to have something that is unique, at least to your area, and more unique than what your building looks like or your menu, unless you have a 4-star Michelin chef. Pick a niche or two complementary ones that have a lot of followers. And basically the easiest way to find this out is if you go to a newsstand and there are magazines that cover your niche, like train enthusiasts, like people who like Star Wars, whatever. It's probably large enough to support you. You may have to combine two. Don't worry that the only people who are going to be looking at you are people in the niche. You will still attract guests from outside your niche, due to location, due to whatever, due to just the fact that they've heard about you. But you will be known as the place to go for people in your niche coming to your area. And they just might choose to come to your area instead of go somewhere else because of the fame of you or you're in or the niche you're in. So what makes someone famous? Well, sometimes it's who they associate with. Kim Kardashian became famous for hanging out with famous people. She certainly didn't do anything to become famous. Social proof. If people see that you've got, a guest registry that's, 1,000 positive reviews, and this can be online as well, and we will definitely be talking about reviews throughout the course and throughout the association training. Testimonials and case studies. People can be famous when they hear your name a lot, and we're going to tell you how to create content and put it out there so that your name is popping up everywhere, your name, your IN's name. And then your relationship with them, if they feel like they know you. And that's where social media is going to come into play. Fame is determined by your relationship with just one person. You're not famous because you say you're famous. You're famous because somebody thinks you're famous, whether it's you or your IN. If they think you're famous, you're famous. And if they don't think you're famous, who the heck are you? They don't know. So you have to claim your authority. Once you picked your niche, what would the number one person in your niche do? How would they act? What would they speak about? What kind of opportunities would they go for? Would they go out on speaking tours? Would they write a book? What would they do? What would happen if you acted like you were the top business in your industry? You were the number one in your niche, period. How would you handle yourself? How would you act? How would you market it? If you choose to be at the top, you will get visitors who want to associate with you. And consequently, you'll also be able to charge more for your bookings, which is one thing we always love. More money is always better than less money. So how to create authority? With enough leverage, you can change your company, your industry, the world. The levers just got longer for everyone. The web and word of mouth and viruses and outsourcing and the long tail and other factors involved in social media mean that everyone, every person on the planet, all 6 billion of us who have access to these tools, has far more power than ever before. You are the news media. You have as much power to put the word out there as CNN or BBC or any of the big news networks. The king and the status quo, they are in big trouble. And you know what? If you do this, it certainly isn't going to make anything worse for you. It can only make it better. So it can't hurt to try it. You'll never know how anything will work out. You just need to give it a shot and see what happens. Now, part of this is going to be productivity. You have to plan things out. You start with your big goals, what you want to accomplish for the year, and then you break down the actions that you think might lead to them and put those actions on your calendar. If you work on just one task a day for a half hour, 45 minutes, you'll be way ahead of the curve, because believe me, most of your competition is not spending any time on this at all. Or they're outsourcing it, which is one of the worst things you can do initially, and it's the worst thing you can do if you totally outsource your social media and your marketing, because nobody can market your inn or bed and breakfast as well as you can. You need to set a monthly focus, then blast that area for a month. And if you don't know what that means, that just means you need to focus completely on that. Everything you do needs to be about that particular type of marketing, whether it goes to 3 or 4 different areas or whether it goes to one. But whatever you're working on, that's what you need to focus on. And that can be internal systems to make your in run smoother, whether you want to get more traffic from websites or more people calling, or improving your conversions, so the more people who look at you, the more want to stay. And if you don't know how to get there, just try something. Any action is better than no action, even if it's a bad action. See what happens, see how well it worked, refine it, test it, make it better. You have to have the right mindset for this, and it's not hard to do. You just have to believe that whatever you do will happen. What could you do to make the outcome you want inevitable? Brainstorm. Come up with ideas. You can make this happen, and it's not as hard as you think. Will this choice take you closer to where you want to be or further away from it? That's the question you have to ask with everything you do. If you're moving too far away from your niche, or if you want to do a tremendous expansion but you don't have the guests for it yet, you might want to stay away from it. But if it's something like adding a Twitter feed and you know that your niche is strong on Twitter, or they're big on Facebook but you don't have a Facebook fan page yet, that's something that's going to take you closer to your goal. Start with 3 hours per week, 2.5, 3 hours. We'll call it a half hour a day just to make it easy. So that's 2.5 hours a week. Spend about a third of that on each of the 3 authority fame areas we're going to be talking about in the next 4 lessons on authority fame, which are coming up 2 per week. And those areas are presence, content, and outreach. And I'll discuss those more in the next lessons. Pick a day and time to schedule these into your calendar. So, if you want to do 3 hours a week and you want to do an hour a day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that's fine. Just pick a time, schedule it so you don't miss it. Everything is the most difficult in the beginning because you're learning new skills. It's like building muscles or learning how to run. It hurts a little at first, but it gets easier the more you do it. You'll gain momentum, and the opportunities you get will start to snowball. Devote a little bit of time now, and the rewards will be tremendous. It doesn't take much to get started, and once you get started, it just grows bigger and bigger like an avalanche. Now, if you haven't joined us yet, join the ITTMA now. We are the Innkeepers Travel and Tourism Marketing Association. We're going to be putting out about 4 lessons a month, so it's going to be mostly weekly, except for those long months where we have 5 weeks a month. We're going to teach you all about marketing you're in. We're going to do print marketing, online marketing, newspaper, radio, TV. We're going to talk about the authority fame and how to get it and keep it and become the #1 player in your niche. We're also going to keep you up to date because things change from time to time. If I had to count all the times Facebook changed the way they do things, I'd run out of hands, basically. And we're going to do this all for a low monthly fee. It doesn't cost a lot to be a member. As of this recording, it costs a little less than $1 US a day, which is pretty reasonable for anybody, and it is a monthly membership, so you don't have to put out several $100s or pounds or euros or whatever currency you're working with every year. And it's month by month, so if things get tight, which I hope they don't, because if you're using our training, things should be going better for you. But if you choose that it's not for you, you can leave us very easily.